Thank you, Mr. President. This week, we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972. And it says, and I'm quoting, "No person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance." For 50 years, those words have changed the lives of American women and girls and their families for the better. As a mom, I was able to watch my daughter excel on a more level playing field, and I look forward to watching my granddaughter do the very same thing. Today, more women than ever are competing for the awards and scholarships once reserved for men. And wouldn't you know it, more women than men graduate from college. In short, Title IX means something to women and girls in this country. It has opened countless doors of opportunity. So today, I'd like to invite all of my colleagues to join me in supporting a simple resolution celebrating the promise of Title IX. It recognizes the 50th anniversary. It honors the work of women's rights activists who led the fight for equal treatment among men and women in education. And it encourages all women and girls in the United States to continue to pursue academic and athletic accomplishments if they so choose. I thank my colleagues in advance for joining me as we celebrate the women and girls in this country and all of their beautiful potential. Mr. President, I ask that the remainder of my remarks be printed separately in the record.
Without objection.
The Senate is back in session, and still we have no indication from the White House or my Democratic colleagues that they have a plan to lower inflation. Tennesseans are frightened. You would be too if you consistently found more month at the end of your paycheck than paycheck at the end of your month. It's getting harder to stretch the pennies and nickels and dimes, and talking points aren't going to fix this problem. The White House keeps telling people that if they hang on just a little bit longer, that they're going to be all right. But that's not how it works in the real world. In the real world, at a certain point, you run out of rope to hang on to. People are looking at this transition economy, and they're saying, what are we transitioning to? It's not what they want for their economic future. It's no longer a matter of just trying to make things work. You just can't pay the bills anymore. The gas tank stays empty, or you go to bed hungry. Now, it's clear that Joe Biden and the Democrats know that the country has reached a tipping point, but rather than offering hope, they've settled into blaming everyone from congressional Republicans to foreign dictators for the problem. That's not what the American people want to hear. They know who got us in trouble, and they know it wasn't Vladimir Putin. It was Joe Biden and the Democrats. It is the people, the Democrats, that are controlling every branch of government in this town. Yes, they have done it, and no amount of scapegoating will change the fact that the American people have been watching closely over the past year and a half, and they know things have gone terribly wrong. The Biden administration abandoned our recovery, spent trillions on a reckless spending spree, and then panicked when all that spending caused record high inflation. No, it is not temporary. The country doesn't need a pep talk. They need Joe Biden and the Democrats to reverse course, before we fall into a recession, if we haven't done so already. And there are things the administration can do right now that will pull us back from the brink. It's time to take the taxpayer-funded credit card away. The American people can't afford what the Democrats are selling, and they wouldn't want it even if they could afford it. They know this is wasteful, out of control, reckless spending. Next, the president must stop expanding the size and power of the federal government. Stop hiring bureaucrats we don't need at the salaries we can't afford to write regulations that only exist to take more money out of people's paychecks. Democrats would also be wise to get the regulators we do have out of the way, especially when it comes to the energy sector. Restart the Keystone XL pipeline and make American energy independent again. Go back to drilling in Alaska, offshore, fracking. Return it all so that we once again are energy independent. Finally, there's something we can do right here in the Senate that would keep future spending and inflation in check. I've introduced legislation that would require a supermajority to pass a spending bill during times of high inflation. It's good common sense. So we should put it up for a vote. It's time for each of us to go on the record and let the American people know what our priorities are. They're tired of what they're seeing coming out of Washington, D.C. I'm glad that they are paying attention. Mr. President, I am so pleased that Tennesseans are paying closer attention now than ever before. And I do think that it's appropriate that President Biden, the White House, the executive branch, and the Democrats who are in charge of Capitol Hill to go on the record and decide if they're going to stand with that Build Back Broke agenda, stand with the radical left, or are they going to stand for the prosperity and safety of the American people? Tennesseans know what the right answer would be. And Mr. President, whether I'm at church, whether I'm out at one of the grandkids' sporting events, whether I'm at the Moon Pie Festival in Bell Buckle, I hear it from everyone. This spending is out of control. I yield the floor.